Hey folks, so as a continuation of the tutorial videos, I'm just going to go through how to make a histogram now. So if we have a look at here, we've got reading in our data, which I'll do again just to make sure the data is fresh. You've seen me do this once or twice already, because if you've been watching these tutorials, this is always a good idea. Just make sure the version of a variable that's in the current environment is up to date, just in case you've accidentally overwritten it with something else or whatever. And then I take my three subsets, so I'll just produce those there. And then we have all of this other stuff here. This was from previous videos, making a frequency table and so on. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make a histogram. So I'm going to just denote that by putting in a comment here. Histogram. Okay, so we have this mem.a data frame, which has the times. Making a histogram is as simple as just typing hist, let me put it here so you can see it, hist mem.a time. Just like that. Nice. And we can add a title. We can call it Mr. A's class times, and then that'll show up as the title. We can add a label for the horizontal axes, which should just be time. There you go. You see it updating here every time I run the code. Awesome. Now, what if we want two histograms on the same plot, on the same axes, lined up to each other? Well, that's where things get a bit tricky using base R. There are some packages that do this more neatly, which I may make another video to show you how to use those at a later date. But for now, just using base R, you have to know about a function called par. And I believe what we were trying to set is, par stands for parameters. The parameter we're trying to set is mf row, I believe. And this sets up a grid of graphs for us to make. So if we do this, and then we run our hist function to make a histogram, that'll make a histogram here. Now we can't quite see it properly because it's a bit squished, but if we open this up, there's our histogram. Now, if we add in another line, we make a second histogram, say Miss B's class times. That'll plot there. Nice. Now that's almost good. There's a problem with this though. The problem is that this goes from 20 to 80 and this goes from 30 to 70. So they're not on the same scale. Because they're different data, they have different minimums and maximums, and the hist function, when it's producing the histogram, decides on what range to plot automatically, because we're not telling it what we want the range to be. We can just tell it though, and that's what we'll do now. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually tell it where to make the breakpoints for the histogram. And this is an indirect way of also deciding on the bin size, which you can choose in different ways. I think here the bin size of 10 seems totally reasonable, which is what it is for Mr. A's class. The bin size of 5 for Miss B's class is fine too. Oh, I've just found a typo there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use bin sizes of 10. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to set the breaks here to be equal to a sequence of numbers starting at 20, going to 80 in amounts of 10 each time. And I'm going to put that on both. So I'm going to put that here as well. So now if I run this, and then this, now they're on the same scale. Perfect. And just as a wrap-up for this, you can export these images by clicking export here. And you can save it as an image. And then you can put it in your report or in whatever other kind of presentation you want to hand up as your assignment. Good. Good luck.